Begin our today's session. Let us see what are we going to do or what are the topics we are going to learn today. Today's our topic is types of respiration. In this topic, what are you going to learn? One is what are the two types of respiration? Next point we are discussing is what is aerobic respiration? What is anaerobic respiration? Commercial use of anaerobic respiration in yeast and anaerobic respiration in human muscle. These are the topics we are going to discuss in today's class. So what are the topics we are going to discuss in today's class are what are the two types of respiration? What is aerobic respiration? What is anaerobic respiration? What is the commercial use of anaerobic respiration in yeast and anaerobic respiration in human muscle? Let us begin. Aerobic respiration is the release of energy from glucose in the presence of oxygen. Strictly speaking, aerobic means in air. However, it is the oxygen in the air which is necessary for aerobic respiration. An organism is described as aerobic if it requires oxygen in order to survive. So what do you mean by aerobic respiration? Respiration with the use of oxygen. The organisms which need air or requires oxygen in order to survive are called aerobic organisms. Now just see that flowchart. What are the products of aerobic respiration? Carbon dioxide, water and energy are the products of aerobic respiration. Glucose is converted into energy, carbon dioxide and water with the use of oxygen. This is what is aerobic respiration. Now, the second type of respiration is anaerobic respiration. The term anaerobic means without the use of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of air. Here, oxygen is not used for the release of energy from food molecules. An organism described as an anaerobic organism when it does not require oxygen to produce energy. Alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy are the products of anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration that takes place in organisms, or we can say unicellular organisms like yeast, certain type of bacteria, etc. They are called anaerobic organisms. Now, in the absence of oxygen, also respiration takes place. Where does it happen? It happens there in human muscle cells. This also comes under anaerobic respiration. The products of anaerobic respiration that takes place there in human muscle cells are lactic acid and energy. So in this slide, see the flowchart carefully and listen and read the textbook. You can understand very clearly. There are two types of respiration. One is aerobic respiration and the other one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration with the use of oxygen, carbon dioxide, water and energy are the products. Respiration without the use of oxygen is anaerobic respiration. Alcohol, carbon dioxide. These are the products and energy is released. In certain cases, in the absence of oxygen, respiration takes place. This happens there in human muscle cells. The products are lactic acid and also energy. Energy will be released. The product is lactic acid. Okay, when does it happen? In the absence of oxygen. And what is the difference between without the use of oxygen and in the absence of oxygen? This is what is you are going to discuss in the next slide. Anaerobic respiration in yeast. What is yeast? You know that dried yeast you must have seen. You must have used there in your kitchen. Like mustard seeds it will be. Yeast respire anaerobically and produce alcohol, carbon dioxide and releases energy. This process in other term we call it as fermentation. Anaerobic respiration that take place there in yeast is put to commercial use for the production of alcoholic beverages, bread and also the fermentation of idli, dosa batter. Okay, so anaerobic respiration in yeast, this is what is yeast. Yeast is like mustard seeds, isn't it? Yes, we use yeast there in alcoholic beverages, then making bread industries, and also the fermentation of idli and dosa batter. When yeast respires anaerobically, alcohol is formed, produced, then carbon dioxide is produced, and also energy is released. This type of anaerobic respiration in yeast is also called a fermentation. This fermentation has certain commercial use, means in business field to make money or in the field industrial side. This fermentation is used for production of beverages, alcoholic beverages, making bread and fermenting the idli and dosa batter. Another type of anaerobic respiration takes place there in human muscle cells. When enough oxygen is not available, human muscles respire anaerobically and form lactic acid and energy. When does this happen? When you are doing exercises, when you are running, or you are doing certain yogas and all, sometimes your body needs more oxygen. When the muscles are not getting enough oxygen, but the muscle needs energy, then the muscles start respiring anaerobically and produce lactic acid and energy. Energy is used for the continuation of work and lactic acid is accumulated there in the muscle cells. When lactic acid is accumulated there in the muscle cells, we get severe muscle pain. This is what is called a muscle cramp. Athletes must have experienced this. When you relax or you rub your leg or muscles, after some few seconds or few minutes, you will be relaxed. What is actually happening? The lactic acid accumulated there in the muscle cells. Again, when the oxygen supply is sufficient, lactic acid is converted into carbon dioxide. Okay, then the accumulated lactic acid is no more there in the muscle cells and you are relieved from the pain and all. So anaerobic respiration in humans is less efficient than aerobic respiration for releasing energy. Okay, always in aerobic respiration, energy produced will be more than anaerobic respiration. So, what all are the topic we discussed today are the two types of respiration, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration in the presence of oxygen or with the use of oxygen, anaerobic respiration without the use of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. The products of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The products of anaerobic respiration are alcohol, carbon dioxide, and energy. In the absence of oxygen, human muscle cells respire. Lactic acid is produced and also energy will be released. These are the topics we discussed today. Thank you, children. Have a wonderful day.